I got no options left, I got nothing to show now. I'm down on the ground, I got seconds to live, and you can't go now. 'Cause love, like an invisible bullet, shut me down and I'm bleeding. Yeah, I'm bleeding. And if you go, furious angels will bring you back to me. Will bring you back to me. You're a dirty needle, you're in my blood and there's no curing me. Yeah, and I wanna run like the blood from a wound to a place you can't see me. 'Cause love, like a blow to the head, has left me stunned and I'm reeling. Yeah, I'm reeling. And if you go, furious angels will bring you back to me. Yeah.
Alright, hi everybody. This is not a comic skate art stream. It's just a spontaneous one. Because there's some things I wanted to share with you guys. So, we're just going to get right into it because I have to do a nerdcast later. This is not really Honey Badger Radio related material, but something that I was personally interested in and I wanted to share. So, there's this article. I just found this out from a Facebook group called Unbiased America. They do a lot of really great work. They really try to look at all sides of an argument and present the facts. And I gotta tell you that I, like them a lot for that. I admire that. So, it has recently been released that an investigation finds that there's no evidence of racist or offensive statements by Covington Catholic students during the Lincoln Memorial incident. This, of course, comes at no surprise to anyone if you're smart and paying attention to the details. But they have made an official statement. They had it investigated by a private detective agency. And they found no evidence of racist or offensive behavior or statements. And the Washington Post had to post that. They had to swallow that. They had to eat that crow. Makes me happy. So let's look at the details here. An investigation released Wednesday into an encounter between Covington Catholic High School students and Native American activists at the Lincoln Memorial last month largely supports the students' accounts of the incident, which prompted immediate and widespread condemnation of the boys after a video of the encounter went viral. A short video clip showed Nathan Phillips playing a traditional drum in an apparent standoff with student Nick Sandman, who was wearing a Make America Great Again hat. The diocese, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, I apologize, of Covington and Covington Catholic High School, which arranged the trip, were among those who initially condemned the boys' actions in the video. Now, I don't know if they're trying to spin this to say, well, they also condemned them. But the church, the Catholic school, if they only have that video clip, they might assume that the boys did something wrong, and of course they want to take pressure off themselves, so why wouldn't they do that? I don't think it's important that they condemn them. I think it's interesting that they're pointing it out, and I think that's on purpose. Because it's still, the WAPO's gonna WAPO is what I'm saying. So, okay. The report, prepared by Greater Cincinnati Investigation Incorporated and dated February 11th, employed 4 licensed investigators for approximately 240 hours to take statements from students and chaperones, as well as to interview third-party witnesses and review about 50 hours of video. Investigators were not able to interview either Phillips or Sandman in person and instead reviewed the students' written account. The investigators said that they found no evidence that the students responded to in an offensive manner to the Black Hebrew Israelites or that they chanted, "Build that wall." It's almost like the dude was lying. I know. Isn't that crazy? DOCs. Okay, thank you for telling me that. I wasn't really sure. So, where was I? Oh yeah, I was talking about Black Hebrew Israelites.
That's right! That's right!
Yeah, that's right. Other key findings include testimony that the students felt confused when Phillips approached them. Investigators said they found no evidence of racist or offensive statements by students to Mr. Phillips, though some performed a tomahawk chop. But how? What? How do you know it's a tomahawk chop? Specifically, couldn't it be a karate chop? Couldn't it be any other kind of chop? It's weird that, it's almost like they have to make prejudice statements in order to accuse these children of being prejudiced. That's just how the left works, though. That's just how mafia works. According to the report, one of the chaperones told students that if they engage in a verbal exchange with the Black Hebrew Israelites, they would receive detention when returning to school. According to the report, most boys bought the red hats bearing President Trump's MAGA slogan in Washington on the day of the March for Life, an annual anti-abortion rally that they attend. In previous years, some students bought Hope hats in support of President Obama, the report says. So, where's the problem? The Bishop of Covington welcomed the report in a statement on the DOC's website. Roger Foys wrote that he was pleased that my hope and expectation expressed in my letter to you of 25th of January that the results of your inquiry would exonerate our students so that they can move forward with their lives has been realized. Of course they're innocent. The day after the march, the DOCs denounced the boys' behavior in a joint statement with the school, calling it opposed to the church's teachings on the dignity and respect of the human person. Well, then I guess you owe those boys an apology. We condemn the actions of Covington Catholic High School students towards Nathan Phillips specifically, and Native Americans in general, the statement read. Now notice that this is a subtle pivot that they're doing. See, the main people that were accusing these boys of racism was the mainstream media and the blue check marks on Twitter that responded to the video clip as it existed and took it out of context, right? They were the ones that attacked them. And I'm fairly positive that Washington Post was one of those. Now that it's come out that the boys did nothing wrong, and Nathan Phillips is a liar, they're trying to make it look like the church is responsible because the Catholic high school, rather, they are the ones responsible because they also sort of, denounced the boys' behavior. But they didn't, I think that the high school was reacting to the media coverage, and they probably didn't even know what was really happening there and what had actually occurred, or they didn't get the information until later and they just put out a statement right away, right? So Foys later wrote, so that's important to point out because this is like the way the media works. So Foys later wrote that he was bullied and pressured into making a statement prematurely, see? And that it is important for us to gather the facts that will allow us to determine what corrective actions, if any, are appropriate. The report does not provide any recommendations for future changes, such as banning political attire or changes to chaperone protocol. Many people were critical that the adults in charge of the students did not intervene more forcefully to avoid or end the interactions. The report also does not address underlying issues of diversity at the school that were raised by local NAACP leader Jerome Bowles and others. Wow, Jerome Bowles. It doesn't get any better than that for an NAACP leader. So, okay, why does a report have to address any underlying issues of diversity at the school? Why does that matter? The report is just supposed to talk about the incident. This is another little pivot that they're doing. And it doesn't provide recommendations for future changes. They don't have to change anything. They're not required to do that. When the boys were wearing hope hats during Obama's presidency, that wasn't a problem. Fuck this fucking rag. Jesus Christ. Before the report was released, Bowles said that the missteps occurred before the students left for the Washington trip. There has to be a look at diversity in the DOCs in general. Covington Catholic is a very academically proficient educational institution. No one questions that, he said. But is the school totally preparing students for the workforce and a diverse world? Fuck off. Who the fuck are you and what do you have to do with any of this shit? The boys did nothing wrong. There's no racism. So there's nothing to address. There's nothing to do. What the fuck? Why don't you guys address the Black Israelite problem? Black Hebrew Israel.
That's right.
Yeah, address that. Jesus. Okay. Is my sound okay, or is this K-pop shit like fighting too much with my volume? I'm gonna lower it a little bit. I'm sorry if it was. All right, so I'm gonna look quickly at these comments and I'll check and see what you guys are saying about this story. I think it's good news that they were exonerated, but it looks like, you know, the mainstream media doesn't give a shit. They're gonna spin it how they're gonna spin it. So, okay, there are underlying issues of diversity on the other side. All those leftists need to be strapped down and watch Little House on the Prairie and the Waltons with their eyes held open like in Clockwork Orange. They are reaching a little bit. The K-pop is loud. Okay, I lowered it, sorry. Late notification again, man, I'll have to watch the VOD. When will we have a list of people being sued over this shit? Can't wait. We gave you a list. I think at the, not this last news show, but the news show before that. There was a big long list of people that they're suing. I don't know if it's gonna like work out though. Phillips himself said he went after them because he saw black versus white, and of course whites must be the bad ones. Yeah, and of course we gotta add some red to it. Look, it was chess and you tried to make it a game of checkers. Just admit it. Kangs and shit, yep. We was Kangs, Israelites. The tomahawk chop is a school spirit thing they do for their teams, according to something I saw somewhere. Yeah, so again, it was, but they're trying to spin it. Like, they can literally exonerate the kids completely, and these guys will still try to add some shit to it. The mainstream leftist media are hateful and the enemy of all who live. Yes, they are. They are the enemy. Wow, they went straight for the Catholics are diddlers trope. Yeah, they did, didn't they? It's, you know, it's really frustrating, like, as a non-religious person, to see a religion get strawmanned and lied about and attacked like this, you know? And I mean, it really is fucking frustrating, because these people that criticize religion so much, they don't have a plan for a replacement. They just don't like what's there. That's really what it is. They just don't like that it's there. And I personally don't have a problem with it as long as it's not trying to tell me how to live my life and trying to use force. Even if somebody says, well, I think that, you know, you're living in sin, or I think that, you know, you're gonna go to hell or whatever, that doesn't bother me. That doesn't bother me. And it shouldn't bother atheists, because atheists don't believe in hell, right? But why does it? Well, because that they want it to be accepted for who they are unconditionally, no matter what. When that happens, I'm sure there are people that are going to say, well, I'm an atheist and it doesn't bother me. Well, that's great. That's you. But I'm talking about the ones that we have to deal with in the mainstream media, in academia, in the entertainment industry, you know? And they're always trying to, like, just character assassinate people. So, some natives even said themselves the Israelites were saying offensive shit to them. Well, I'm sure they were, because the Israelites think that they're the original people, right?
That's right! That's right! That's right!
They should be allowed to do the tomahawk thing, given that they are most likely more native than the Pocahontas senator. Cultural appropriation is not one way, yeah. So, how ironic, the archdiocese that paid more than the archdiocese of Boston to settle sexual abuse claims is siding with the bigoted students. Of course, being the warp sick predatory organization that they are going against the facts. What? Dude, what a moron. It was found that there was nothing that happened. Also, the mainstream media, including NBC4 DC locally, reported about 87,000 times that Native American elder phony D-bag Nathan Phillips was a Vietnam vet, when it was patently obvious this triggered snowflake fraud was nothing close to that. Yeah, refrigerator repair person. Trailer park of tears. Of course, par for the course. They've been doing that for centuries with God's blessing, apparently. Whoa, what the fuck? Man, the audience of Washington Post is fucking cancer, guys. Oh my god. Like, you can, like, literally find somebody innocent and they don't like it. It's not good enough. It's not good enough for them. Why do you even unplug that from people? Okay, so I'm gonna go on to the next story. You are complaining atheists but anti-theists. Well, I know. I mean, I don't mean to, but I think it can be really hard to see the difference these days. Let's put it this way. Okay, deadly do, right? Atheists that are not anti-theists are usually quiet about their atheism. They just believe it, they keep it to themselves, and they stick up for religious people, even if they themselves are not religious. And that doesn't happen very often. Anti-theists are atheists that are very vocal and won't shut up. They're like vegans, right? They can't not tell you about it, right? Anti-theists are giving atheists a bad name, and they are ruining the discourse, and they're strongly misrepresenting the religious people. And I say that as a non-religious person myself. I say that as a non-religious person. I'm not a religious person, but I see that, you know. I mean, one of the reasons I think they're going after Vic Mignogna, the voice actor, is because he's religious. And Chris Pratt, the star of Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay? Many people's favorite character from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Chris Pratt came out as religious, or at least it was revealed that he could have been religious for a long time. it was revealed that he was religious, and he started dating Arnold Schwarzenegger's daughter or something. And everyone's shitting on him, and they want to take away his work. And I mean, granted, James Gunn already lost his job doing a Guardians 3, but now even if they were going to get somebody else to direct a Guardians 3, they might not do. Chris Pratt might not come back because he's not even like a bad guy. He just happens to be religious. Atheists don't believe, anti-theists don't want others to believe. Yeah. Anti-theists are usually douchebags. Yeah, I mean, atheists are like vegetarians, whereas anti-theists are like vegans. I guess so, but vegetarians can be pretty preachy too. I've had my share of run-ins with preachy-ass vegetarians, but I think that they're more of a mixed bag. Like Scott, Geek Variety, he's vegetarian. He's not preachy. You know, he's really cool about it. But I knew a girl who was the wife of a friend of mine who was a vegetarian. And I've told this story before, but one time I was living in a really small studio apartment by myself, and I wanted to order a pizza, and I didn't have a phone yet. So I had been moved in for only like a little while, and my phone wasn't installed. Back then we had phones in the wall. It's crazy, right? And I asked my neighbor, my friend, if I can order a pizza on his phone. And he said he had to ask his wife. And then his wife asked what I was going to put on the pizza. And I said, well, I'm going to get cheese, sausage, mushroom, and garlic. That's my favorite pizza combination. And she would not let me order a pizza with her phone because I was going to put sausage on it. That was like, I was just like, what? Do you think I even said, do you think you've actually saved a pig? Because that pig is already dead, I can tell you that. Like, there's no pigs walking around in the fucking pizza place. Sure enough, she wouldn't let me do it. So I've run into some pretty preachy vegetarians. That's just one example. But vegetarians, for the most part, are okay. You know, vegans, though, that's a whole other animal. Pun intended. All right, so let's see. The Catholics' worldwide plan for complete dominance intensifies. Yeah, that's working out. Anti-theists are usually ex-believers that feel like they were lied to all their lives, which isn't entirely false. The rage subsides after a while. A lot of anti-theists don't call themselves anti-theists, though. A lot of them just call themselves atheists, but they do have a hate boner for religion. Feminists are mostly non-religious atheists that act like anti-theists. Lacey Green is a really good example. She doesn't say it, but she grew up Mormon. She found that she felt lied to, controlled, manipulated, whatever, and now she's like, basically her whole persona is a big giant rebellion against how she grew up. And it's clearly an overreach because she makes a lot of assumptions about religious people. There are problems with the church, sure, but that's not the same as religion, right? It is basically the prime example of libertarian versus authoritarian. Yeah, anti-theists are authoritarian, or they can be, for sure. Atheist has become a useless word. Yeah. It's like, there's basically people who are atheist or agnostic and don't talk about it, and then there are people who are anti-theist, which they basically treat their atheism like its own religion. That's the thing. And we're getting way off track, but yeah, that's basically the difference. So the other story I wanted to talk to you guys about, I didn't know this until today, and this isn't new news. I think that we knew about this a little bit. I mentioned this woman named Jamie Marchi, who is a voice actress. She's actually the voice actress that did, do you guys remember the Prison School thing? Where the dub of Prison School, there was an episode where a character said she accused someone of being a Gamergate creep, and everyone like kind of freaked out because they knew that the original text wasn't that at all, and that they just kind of ad-libbed that in. Do you guys remember that? It was for the anime called Prison School, and there was a female character that said, "You're one of those Gamergate creeps." This woman is the voice actress that said that, if I remember correctly. It's the same person. So, here's the story. Rosario plus vampire dub VA Jamie Marchi alleges Mignona pulled her hair. In allegations that closely resemble those levied by cosplayer Jesse Pridemore, voice actress Jamie Marchi publicly accused fellow voice actor Vic Mignogna of running his fingers through her hair, seizing her hair at the base of her scalp, and pulling her towards him, followed by whispering a sexual comment in her ear. Marchi posted the allegations on Twitter on Friday. The Rosario Plus Vampire and Panty and Stocking voice actress account was shared via a series of images transcribed below. Several years ago, I was in the lobby at my job when I was approached by a coworker. This is her story. This guy gave me the creeps already. He gave almost all women at my job the creeps. But I always felt like I had to be nice to him anyway because of how revered he was in the industry. As we said hello, he stood to the side of me and started running his fingers through my hair. Now, I do work in an affectionate industry. We hug a lot, and on occasion we give kisses on the cheek. But even for an affectionate environment, this felt off. I didn't say anything to him about it though. It was just his fingers in my hair. I didn't think it was a big deal. At that point, he splayed his fingers, put his hand at the base of my skull, and made a fist. When he did this, he grabbed my hair close to the root, effectively preventing me from moving my head at all. He then jerked his fist, yanking my head backwards and towards him, and whispered something in my ear. I don't remember what he said specifically, but I do remember it being sexual in nature. So she doesn't remember what he said, but she remembers it was sexual? This was not normal. This was not just a hug or a kiss on the cheek. I did not like it. I have no memory of getting out of his grasp, but I assume "what the fuck are you doing" was part of the technique. Afterwards, I completely and utterly dismissed this experience. Yeah, okay. So she dismissed that experience. This is I'm pressing X to doubt right now. Press X to doubt. Afterwards, I completely and utterly dismissed the experience. I dismissed the way I had been touched. I dismissed having this man grab me. I dismissed having my head jerked back. I dismissed the inappropriate comment. I dismissed the entire encounter. You ever notice that when people are like giving you a bullshit testimony, and a lot of social justice warriors do this, they try to write their little things like they're giving a speech, so they use a lot of repetition, you know? This is for the blank. This is for the blank. This is for this. I dismissed the way I silenced myself when this happened. I silenced myself when that happened. Like every time somebody's writing something, they think that they're gonna do the next fucking John F. Kennedy or Martin Luther King Jr. speech. You ever notice that? It's really like pretentious. It really bugs the shit out of me when people do. It makes me think, this is the reason why I don't buy into your shit, okay? Because you are dramatizing the experience so much, like you're trying to write something for a young adult novel or some kind of essay or some, you know, it just seems so dramatized that I just think it's a lie. Because a person who's really had a bad experience doesn't write like this. They go to the police, they go to their superiors, they handle the situation. They don't make this big dramatic bullshit. Sorry. Okay. I dismissed the entire encounter. I never reported this event to the company. It actually didn't even occur to me that I should have. Although if it had occurred to me, I can't say I would have reported him. This guy was worshipped by his fans. He was worshipped by the studios because of his fans. He was the most popular voice actor on the convention circuit. Everyone treated him with kid gloves because he was the one and only Vic Mignogna. Who was I? A nobody in comparison. I didn't matter, and I knew it. Risking being blacklisted from my work and conventions simply wouldn't have been worth it. Oh, it's so hard to be me. I just voiced, you know, Panty and Stocking, and I just have this dream job that I've always wanted, but I'm not Vic Mignogna. He's so powerful. He's he's not a fucking mob boss. He's a voice actor. This just shows how full of shit you are. You know, this is like so bad. And also, I'm sorry, but I don't care. This is where I'm at when it comes to these Me Too allegations, okay? If you don't take your case to your boss or the police immediately after it happens, I will not believe you by default. And I don't care if it's true, because you missed your chance and you acted like a coward, and you deserve to have that memory, even if you actually went through it. And I know that sounds spicy, but I'm at the point now where it's not worth it to try to go back in time and correct something, when you, as an adult, should have done it in the moment. Now, if it's a child that's a victim, that's a different story. But people who are adults that just act like kids, I have no sympathy for you. If you didn't report it, I don't give a shit. As far as I'm concerned, you're lying. I don't believe you. You had a chance. You should have treated it like it was when it happened, if it was real. I don't think this is real. This sounds like a lie. This sounds like bullshit. Okay. Okay. Was this the ginger you were drawing? No. I was drawing a pretty girl. It reads like a young teen novel. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I saw some vid talking about women abusing their sons. The cunt still managed to blame it on men. A lot of these women have been treated badly by men, and they don't know what they're doing. Yeah, that's normal. And then Vic, balls deep, Mignona grabbed me by the hair, pulled me close, and whispered equivalent exchange in his sexiest Edward Elric voice into my ear. So I know some young people, they are really inexperienced. All of their experiences come from movies and books. Yeah, it sounds like she just like read something in a book someplace and just decided that that was her. Like, this literally sounds like the ravings of a crazy person. I don't buy it, and she's just trying to destroy this man. I don't buy it. And you know what else? Here's one other thing before I go on. All right, if you like work in a work environment where where hugging and kissing each other is normal, and then something like this happens, you are working in an environment where nobody knows what the rules are. Maybe you should have a more professional environment. Maybe you guys shouldn't be doing that shit. Maybe this is the reason why most work environments don't do this shit. Because it creates ambiguity in terms of intention. What's affectionate to someone is not necessarily affectionate towards somebody else. On top of that, you are also going to come into a situation where you're going to treat people differently. Because if it was one of her female friends that did that grabbed her butt or her boobs and said, "Oh my God, you look so sexy today," and they're like jokingly groping each other, there'd be no problem. This is what happens when you create a needlessly affectionate environment. And I wouldn't be surprised if most of these people are like that because they're just so thirsty for human contact of some kind that they would be willing to essentially do things that are generally not considered appropriate in a professional setting so that they feel more like human beings. And they're doing it, ironically, in an environment where you're more likely to get accused of shit because, hate to break it to you people, okay, but the voice acting industry in anime is full of social justice warriors. Snowflakes. You get a lot of kids from small towns who watch TV and rap videos and they just think they know what really goes on in the world, or they watch Young Turks and they think they know. Yeah. Sometimes a human brain can't differentiate a memory of events from memories of a dream. It's true. I'm such a huggy, lovey, and affectionate person, but I will not be affectionate at work. Yeah. Sorry, but that's, to me, that's fucking weird, man. I don't want to be in a situation like that. I don't want to work in an environment like that. Because again, like, especially as a man, like that's a fucking career-ending move. If you ever get a job working at a company where everyone hugs each other all the time, you might want to consider changing jobs. Because even if you don't participate in that culture, you could get in trouble because people think that you're being elitist, or they're just going to dislike you and they're going to do some high school mean girl shit to you. That's what that is. If you do participate, then you could be falsely accused like this guy of whatever because they don't like you. I mean, like this whole story about this woman's inability to actually like go after Vic, it sounds like, honestly, she's jealous because he's more popular than she is and probably more talented and has more work under his belt. And now she sees an opportunity to ruin him because she doesn't like that he's good at what he does and that he has more fans than her. It really comes across that way. I'll go back and I'll read that part that tells you that, okay? She said, this guy was worshipped by... sorry, I'm back. Alright. I don't know what... Stupid thing crashed. OBS. I'm back. I'm just gonna wait. Okay, you guys can see me again. Alright. So anyway, I was just saying that it sounds like envy. It sounds like envy at his fame, his influence. I don't know that he has a lot of influence. The guy's losing work all over the place. It's funny because she says here that everybody treated him with kid gloves. Meanwhile, the guy's getting fired from every job. Who's got the power here? It's so ridiculous. It's just backwards world. Clown world. So anyway, she continues, as I look back on this moment and discuss it with my family and friends, I can see that his actions qualify as simple assault. Like she didn't know? She's so stupid? Would he have gone to jail had I pressed charges? I'm not sure. Why would people believe me over a man who holds Bible studies in hotel lobbies? See, there's the religious thing. They're putting that in. Like, religious people have, like, more power than regular people. I don't know if you guys noticed, but in, like, the entertainment industry, in most people's, like, leisure industries, religious people are constantly being criticized and attacked. Okay, let me be clear. Christians, not Jews. That's not right. We have, like, giant groups like the SPLC and the ADL to protect them, and not Islam. You have, like, everyone on the left doing that. So it's basically just Christianity. That's the only one. Let's be real, okay? So Bible studies. That doesn't mean anything, but she's got to bring it up. You see, that's the point, right? And even if they did, would they care about the truth of if that meant tarnishing the reputation of their favorite voice actor? Well, it's been done. In the last week or so, I've heard accounts of him doing this exact thing to half a dozen other women that I personally know. I am friends with these women, and we never told each other about our experiences. So, are you friends with them? Like, if you had a bad experience, and your friends had a bad experience, like you actually went through assault or something, and you didn't talk to each other about it, how can you claim that you're friend? Do you know what a friend is? Woman, have you ever had a friend? Because that doesn't sound like a friend. It sounds like bullshit. Okay. Some dismissed it like me. Others felt too ashamed or scared to say anything. I struggle with the guilt I feel for having been so dismissive of his actions. Had I been able to speak up then, maybe less women would have had to experience what happened when they were unable to get out of Vic's grasp. Now he sounds like a monster. A supervillain. I have you now, lady. I have you by the root of your hair. And I will do what I will. God damn it. I'm speaking up now because I didn't even think about this event until I realized other women had experienced the same thing. I thought it was just me. And at first, I didn't want to say anything because my experience was not nearly as bad as what other people have suffered at the hands of this man. I wanted their stories to be heard first because they were the important ones. Not me, please. Please, not me. Just you go. I'll stay here. I'm so modest and weak, and I just want to give the platform to other people. Just you go. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. So selfless. Holy shit. I wanted their stories to be heard first because they were the important ones. But in this moment, I want others to know that are out there to hear this. It wasn't just you. It's okay if you didn't say anything to him or anyone else. You are not responsible for what happened. You do not have to be dismissive, ashamed, or afraid. Also, I hope if anyone ever goes through a similar experience, they will know from the start that their body is not up for debate. Their body is not property of the most popular person in the room. Their body is not responsible for a company or a show or an art form. Their body is most definitely not responsible for the reputation and livelihood of a predator. Oh my god. This is vile. This is disgusting. That this Marchie person would go this far to try to ruin someone while also painting herself as just this hapless victim that wishes she could have just had the strength, but he just sapped it out of her when he touched her like a leech. Just when he grabbed her by the hair, she lost all of her girl power and she had to build it back up. Oh my god, it's so disgusting. So fucking disgusting. Alright. Marchie's allegations follow Pridemore and other convention attendees made public last month. Voice actor Neil Kaplan shared a video and his current his account of Mignona allegedly climbing onto his shoulders unannounced February 3rd, and Dragon Ball Z voice actress Monica Rial claimed she also experienced an inappropriate encounter with Mignona. In the last week, our Ruby production company, Brewster Teeth, cut ties with Mignona, and he was replaced in Funimation's The Morose Monokian simulcast dub. All but 3 of Mignona's 18 convention appearances scheduled for 2019 are cancelled. Mignona issued an apology at the Back Anime Convention in Bakersfield, which I don't think he should have, but whatever. I'm pretty sure that Mignona himself is kind of an SJW as well, but I'll still stick up for him. He had denied allegations by con attendees in a statement released on January 21st. Mignona is well known for voicing popular anime characters like Edward Elric in Full Metal Alchemist, Tamaki in Oran High School. I said Koran High School. Now that's an anime I'd watch. Host Club, Zero in Vampire Knight, and Fade Florita in Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicle. He recently starred as Brawly in the Dragon Ball Super Brawly film, currently in US theaters. Yeah, man, this is disgusting. And yeah, I know that I talked about this a little bit in my other stream earlier today, but AnimeGate seems like it's becoming a thing because, well, we're gonna get into another story that's crazy as fuck in the Nerdcast a little bit later. But there is he the huggy person? Yes, he is. And this is, I think that all this is gonna do is just ruin work relations for people. I won't hug anybody unless I know them really well, or you know, if it's you guys, I guess, as long as you don't accuse me of shit. If you shuffle the letters in Real, you get liar. Yeah, this sounds like such shit, man. This guy's life is probably like upside down. Like he's probably going through some really harsh shit. This is really awful. He literally turned into a supervillain by the last 2 paragraphs. Of course. It's ridiculous, man. Like, even if it... Let's say for a moment that some of the stuff he did made women uncomfortable and they felt like it was inappropriate. This response is absolutely disproportionate. You have to take some ownership. If he was doing that, you had a responsibility to everyone in your industry to say something when it happened. Because you didn't, I don't believe you. I think you are lying. This isn't even like you might remember it wrong or whatever. I think you're lying because you remember all of this shit, but you don't remember what he said to you, but you're just sure it was sexual. Okay? And you bring it up now. This is how Me Too works. That's why I said that this happened in the animation industry, and they put out like the Rebecca Sugar and all of her Cal Arts fucking women. They put out this big open letter that probably like one person wrote and all of them signed off on, and then all of a sudden men in the industry are losing their jobs, including the guy I've been talking to. I'm not gonna say his name, but he's lost his job. You know, and I think that that's on purpose. And you have WIA, Women in Animation, who are heading up the High Guardian Spice anime I put in quotes, and they also have a mission statement to replace all of the, you know, half the people in the creative end with women. It's gonna destroy animation. Like the Western animation is gonna suffer big time for that. Okay, like. There is a boom in California right now saying that they're like looking for people. Like they're looking for people to work in animation. Could it be that they just fired a bunch of animators that were men? Is it possible? The Me Too thing could have ruined people and nobody knows about it for all we know. And maybe they're too scared to say something because of for other legal reasons. Who knows? And now it's happening here. And yeah, I know that everyone who works in the arts, there's a very, very high chance that they're social justice warriors. Pretty much everybody. There's a pretty high chance of it because they all go to the same colleges and that where that culture is created and fostered. In fact, it's happening as early as grammar school now. So they're churning out professional victims and social justice warriors. and social terrorists or cultural terrorists, whatever you want to call it, that are going to go into these spaces and they're going to ruin them. And anybody who stands in their way, whether they have the wrong beliefs because they happen to be religious, again, I present to you Chris Pratt, who they're trying to ruin. I present to you Vic Mignogna, who they're trying to ruin, okay, as an example, and I'm sure it's going to be happening all over. That they're just going to try to replace everything that they don't like with what they do like. It's going to be women, it's going to be minorities, it's going to be trans people, whatever. And the quality of the product is going to go to shit. And it's not going to stop. I don't see this is going to be going on for a while. So congratulations, everybody. We now have an anime gate because of this. And you should see some of the shit the other voice actors are saying. I mean, I talked a little bit about it, but it's bad. There was one guy, I don't know what his name is. He was virtue signaling. He literally virtue signaled that people, I swear to God, as a voice actor, he said that kids that are defending Vic Mignogna need to, I'm not going to be able to quote it verbatim, so this is just me like kind of, paraphrasing. They need to go learn about, educate themselves on toxic masculinity, on rape culture, on what else? Toxic masculinity, rape culture, and like other sort of, feminist ideologies, and then puts a hashtag #MeToo at the end. Voice actor, kind of a big one too. Like these are all like prominent figures, right? They all have the same ideology, man. I mean, this is like this is where we are. This is where we are. So, and I hate to say that as a creative person myself, but I know that I'm the exception, not the rule. So I'm pretty sure it's pretty much everywhere. So I hope that you guys take this with, a little bit of a consolation in this. If somebody brings up the Covington thing, get the link that shows that they're innocent and there's no evidence, and it's like official, like they had detectives look into it and it's official. The kids did nothing wrong, okay? They did nothing wrong. And also be aware that we're gonna hear more about shit going on in the anime industry, specifically the Western dub. And I know that the Japan is pretty gynocentric as well, right? I know that. But I don't see these problems happening there. I don't see people losing their jobs because they think that, they acted inappropriately or whatever. I don't see Nokia Wakamoto? I don't see him getting accused of sexual misconduct or sexual assault, and then some Japanese voice actress, saying, "Oh my God, I would speak up, but I just can't. I'm just nothing compared to Wakamoto. He's just too popular. He's too much. He's like the guy." Yeah, fuck that. Bullshit. All right. Anyway, I gotta go. Let me read a couple of your last comments. I'm gonna go ahead and close out the stream. Okay. Let me scroll up a little bit. Hugs at Brian Martinez, thank you. So you wouldn't hug female badgers? I've hugged them all. Brian, it's not like he dragged her into a fucking bathroom, raped her, and then told her, "If you tell anyone, I'll get all my business buds to kick you out of the industry." Of course. It's not you. Well, I mean, she makes it sound like that. I swear, like her thing reads like it's supposed to turn a woman on. Like that's how it's almost written like that. Mr. 0303 says, even if every allegation is real, he still didn't do anything too horrible. Right, well, that's true, but you know how it goes. Howard, look at that. He gave almost all women at my job the creeps. It says there, what is that claim? There was a council of chicks meeting and they had a show of hands. Yeah, and yet they didn't tell each other about encounters they had with him, but they did say, "Oh my God, that guy's kind of creepy." Nah, that doesn't add up. Again, I'm pressing X to doubt. I don't buy it. Hashtag #MeToo is fill in the blank revenge movement. Yes, it is. Has a woman ever been blacklisted from anywhere for levying an accusation at a man? I've never seen it happen once. If it actually happened, that shit would be front page news. No, it's never happened. Never. And it won't. It won't happen. Western animation has been shit since the 70s. Well, on television. Mostly, yeah. Well, then it deserves to go under, to be honest. The Asians are rightfully taking over. Yeah, I mean, like, if that's where it goes, that's where it goes. I don't really disagree. But competition is good. And unfortunately, they've been slipping on their animations too a little bit. Some things. Being male makes one creepy by definition. Male babies in nurseries have creeper on their charts. Yeah, that they do. Great Indoors. Wasn't Hannah refuting you on that front? Japan, I mean, men have to apologize or they might lose their jobs. I don't know. I've never seen, but I've never seen a big problem with false accusations in Japan. At fault, you know what I mean? I mean, I'm sure that things happen. I mean, they have like, you know, they have like train cars that are just for women. They certainly respond to it. So, but I'm saying I don't think it's as bad as we have it. They might have it, but it's not as bad as we have it. It's more universal suffrage than women specifically, but I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Yeah. Actually, Japan has one good thing with their legal system, as when people divorce, the men are entitled to have custodial time, and if the mother prevents that, she would be arrested. Wow. It's written like a softcore fanfic rape fantasy. It is. It is. All right. Well, anyway, I'm going to go. It's 3:50, and I want to, like, chill out a little bit before I do the Nerdcast, so I'm going to let you guys go. Thanks for coming on. If you guys could hit the like button. Also, leave me a comment. What do you think about these stories? I really want to know. Leave me a comment below. And take care of yourselves. Be careful out there. There's just some crazy-ass bitches in the world. Yeah, be sure to subscribe if you're not already. Hit the bell for notifications. And hit that like button, please. I'll talk to you guys in a little while.